How are you?
Good.
Uh-oh, is he okay?
Yeah, he's just a little fussy before bed. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's all good.
Okay.
So,
Is this a good time?
this
Is
is
this all right?
perfectly fine, definitely. Yeah. I'm going to mute my microphone anyway once you guys start talking so, it won't pick that up.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
That's
He's,
fine.
yeah, that's what happens when you have a 7-month-old.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's
All
fine.
right. Joel, how you doing?
Yes, I'm doing well. It's been a while. I met you that one night,
One
I
one
think,
time, yeah.
when we were in Savannah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess
Where
Christina's
are you
told
guys
you.
living now?
Well, right now we lived in India.
Yeah, she's.
I'm sorry. I guess there's a lag with the video.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But yeah, right now I'm in
go
Kentucky. We're
ahead.
moving to New York in a little bit. Yeah. So,
Cool. Yeah, she told me about the show, the idea, or roughly. It's obviously something that we've had numerous people tell us this should be on TV somewhere. Just kind of all the crazy stuff that happens with all the animals and just the farm and just our lives in general. There's quite a dichotomy between our normal kind of daily lives out here on the farm and some of the other stuff we do, as far as just traveling and that type of stuff. So it's interesting. We've had fun with it. I was, I guess there's a lot of different, lenses you can kind of look at this through as far as what your the point of the show, or the kind of the central theme. So that was kind of what I was curious. I mean, we haven't really talked about that all that much. Obviously, I feel like she is a better focal point than I am, but I'm happy to be involved however I would need to be, and be a character.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, originally, that's what made it so interesting. Like you said, the dichotomy between the two, it's almost two completely different worlds. It's very rare to come along something like that, and it's quite intriguing. I mean, just that in itself is sort of a character, that you have this sort of,
Right.
you live this sort of life. It's very interesting. Yeah, I mean, so we'll work with this company up in New York, Backroads Entertainment, and they're the guys that started that company got their feet off the ground with American Restoration and Pawn Stars, and they started those shows, and they went off
Right.
and formed their own company, and now they have they just have a bunch of different shows in the networks right now. So that's the company I'm working with, and so I pitched them this idea. I was just talking about you guys, just talking about just what you have and everything. And like this is amazing. This is the best thing we've seen on paper all year. This is fantastic. So, but I was telling Christine earlier today,
Yeah.
though, kind of really it's hard to do a show just about two people unless you're famous or
Sure.
professional athletes or something.
Yeah.
It's no one really wants to follow just two people. So it really helps to have an ensemble cast. And I was asking her if she's got
Right.
other friends, especially female ensemble casts. With the female ensemble cast, there's 26 networks you could pitch this to. So like you
Right.
said, and then so like the husbands, fiancés, boyfriends are kind of like the coming and going cast. It really just sort of follow
Right.
the
Right.
name they gave it is sort of like the real farm wives of Green Acres. It's sort of like the throw out there name. So
Right. Right.
so that's kind of what we're looking at now. I mean, it's one of those things at this stage. It's you play with different things and kind of figure out of course, what works best for you guys, how you want to be portrayed too, and then also what are the network, who's going to buy it? Does TLC
Right.
buy it? Does Bravo buy it? Well, then they're going to have their sort of own mandates of kind of what they want to focus on, what they want to look at. So these beginning stages is really just about
Sure.
sort of like seeing who the characters are, seeing who you guys are, seeing the farm, hearing about everything, and then
Right.
the other female cast members as well.
Right, right. So, I mean, you can totally, I mean, we don't watch a ton of reality TV per se. We do have a couple shows that we watch. It's kind of funny though, out here, I mean, it's, if you know, obviously with her being, you know, the focal point, but like when you want to like, you know, cut down trees and like blow stuff up or like, you know, tear, you know, anything like that out here, like there's plenty of that type of stuff to do too, whenever you want to, you know, illustrate that you're, you know, on this farm or, you know, there's plenty of that kind of stuff. We've toned down the number of livestock animals. We had some goats for a while, and we had a turkey.
Yeah, we had two turkeys.
Well, we had two turkeys, and we had a few more
Thanksgiving
chickens.
came
and
along.
Turkeys were mean.
Yeah.
We didn't even make it to Thanksgiving.
Well, we traded the one turkey. One of the turkeys got killed by the dogs. Actually got maimed and was like mortally wounded by the dogs, and then I had to chop its head off, which was always fun at 8:30 in the morning before I have to go to a big business meeting that day.
It was Monday, wasn't it?
Something like it. Probably it had to have been a Monday. I mean, it was just totally worse. You know, like just, you know, you're out there in your boxers like chopping a turkey's head off. Not fun. And so. And
the other one was really aggressive towards me, and then he started getting aggressive towards me.
Yeah, he started getting, they get aggressive if they don't have, so his mate got killed, so then it was just him, and, you know, it wasn't, you know, he didn't have a partner, so. Anyway, we traded him.
Very scary.
Yeah, we traded him to the guy who built our chicken coop tractor deal. And so he ended up with the turkey, and we got the chicken coop.
It was due to my good trading skills.
Yeah, so there's been a few.
Yeah.
We traded a goat for a donkey. We've traded some stuff.
I did that.
Yeah,
I did that.
She's a
get my credit.
entrepreneur and a goat trader all at once.
That tech. Yeah.
That tech. So, you know, obviously there's the farm element to the show or whatever the premise is. And then, you know, I think with her company, that's pretty, you know, a cool thing too. I mean, it's kind of, you know, empowering women, entrepreneur, you know, that type of thing. I mean, and it's going really well. She's been getting a lot of cool press and that type of stuff. So, you know, you've got that angle as well. And then, you know, if you ever, I mean, we do some pretty cool stuff, you know, probably, you know, 3 or 4 times a year. We'll, you know, like this year we were out in San Francisco for a wedding. We were in LA staying with this producer friend of mine who produced all the Quentin Tarantino movies. It's a guy named Lawrence Bender. Spent a couple weeks or a week in the Hamptons, spent a week in Hawaii. So, I mean, we do stuff like that too. I know that's a different animal from a, you know, shooting, you know,
a regular animal.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's kind of a, you know, it's kind of a mobile crew type thing you have to do that stuff. But I'm just saying we do that stuff. I don't know if that's interesting or what the, you know, how that mixes in with the whole show.
Yeah, no, I mean that's kind of a big, kind of a key element too, because that helps show that, you know, that other world per se, you know, since
right.
You know, that's very important for you guys. You do a lot of trips and traveling and, you know, enjoy all that stuff. So, you know, kind of your escape from the farm life. So what I'm interested in hearing from you, Joel, right now is kind of, she told me the story, but I kind of want to hear from your version, your view of how this came to be, how this happened, this whole, you know, decided, you know what, let's do a farm.
Yeah.
Let's buy some land.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. So it all kind of started, I'd always kind of had this, I don't know if I watched too much Bob Vila as a kid or something, but I always kind of had this idea to, you know, get an old house and fix it up and remodel it, and it's just a charm that goes with an old house, you know. So I've never done that, and I had always wanted to have, you know, a bit more land and maybe, you know, kind of move out to the country for a while, see what it's like. Well, it all kind of started with our dog Jock, who's the big, you know, 150 150-pound guy.
Oh, yeah.
I, for some reason, decided I wanted another dog, and instead of like the little dog that we have, Fleecy, you know, we wanted a big dog. I did. So, you know, once we got him, it's kind of like chicken or egg thing. She tries to say that, like, you got the dog on purpose, knowing that then the dog would facilitate this other plan you had down the road to have this.
Yeah, he's the size of he's the size of our donkey.
Right.
And we were living in this tiny house.
Yeah, I mean, the house was fine. It was, you know,
it was the dog.
Yeah,
the
house was basically in downtown Athens, so it's an urban environment. It's not like we were in the burbs somewhere, but with, you know, a 4-acre fenced-in yard or something. But anyway, so that kind of started the whole thing, and then I went out and, you know, as a real estate broker, you know, I have access to like the online listing systems and whatnot. Will you go let Fleecy out?
I'm sorry, I've got to go get him.
Our dog's trapped somewhere and he's barking. Anyway, so it was a couple days before Christmas one year, and you want to get on this call too? Okay. So
he's having a fit.
So anyway, I did a search. This place popped up. I was just searching for like anything with land. This place popped up. I drove out here, made an offer the next day, bought it like a month later, and we started work on it. And then the other house in town, we ended up leasing out to some grad students because it's right there, walking distance to campus and downtown and everything. And their lease had to start in August, and this place was nowhere near being finished. But we still moved in here, which kind of added to all the, you know.
It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
It was nothing short of a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, no kitchen. You know, we had the sink in the bathroom.
No, we did not. We had the bathtub.
Oh, we had the bathtub and the shower.
So I was washing my clothes, washing my dishes, washing myself in the tub.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That was for like
Drinking
a couple. That was like a week. But anyway.
No, it was absolutely not a week.
It was
a month. It was a month. It was a month.
Anyway, so needless to say, I'll never do that again. Neither one of us are going to move into a house that's not totally finished ever again. So
I'm never leaving here. I'm never leaving. After what all we did, I'm never leaving.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt I'd ever sell this place or we'd ever sell it, but, you know, we'll probably live here for a while. But so, you know, that was kind of the whole experiment. So we ended up out here and, you know, and then we got here and then, you know, obviously we started talking about getting farm animals and, you know, hey, we've got all this property now, let's have some horses or cow or whatever. So starts out with a goat, a couple goats, and then a horse, and then a donkey, and then our neighbor, this woman up the road, had a black lab who was a puppy and it got hurt, and no one, you know, she wasn't going to pay to get him surgery or whatever. So we kind of we rescued him, and then, you know, had like a several $1,000 elbow surgery so we wouldn't have to cut his arm off. He was a puppy anyway. So that was Bear. So he was kind of originally Fleecy was a rescue a long time ago, but that's another story. Anyway, so Bear was kind of our rescue animal, and then Henry showed up while I was in Hilton Head playing in a golf tournament, and she like texted me a picture of this little puppy that she found in the road. I mean, it's really sad that, you know, a lot of people don't take care of animals and don't really, you know, and that's one of the things that I would like to, you know, get through in the show is the animal side of it. And just, you know, people just aren't really conscious of that, and they just, you know.
And not out here. I mean,
well, it's not just out here, it's anywhere. What happens out here, though, is people literally, you know, from Athens or something, like, you know, don't have a dog, they can't care for, whatever, they're moving, they don't want to take it to the pound, you know, so they just go drop it off in the middle of the woods.
And like, it finds our house.
Yeah, and they all find this place.
And
but,
they don't want to leave.
Yeah, and then we were just too kind-hearted to, you know, let them go. And this is kind of like dog nirvana out here because they've got, you know, ponds and 50 acres and just whatever they want to do, kind of. So now we're at 7 dogs and 1 cat. We recently had to put a cat that was a rescue cat to sleep, which was kind of a whole drawing. It was a very sad deal. And we've got a flying squirrel that she rescued from Mom's house that fell out of a tree.
He's been living in our bathroom for 6 months.
5 months longer than he should have been living in there.
So I'm very partial to Theodore. I love Theodore. So almost to the point where Joel.
But the funny thing is this stuff just starts like, I don't know what it is, but it's like a magnet because, you know, this puppy that we have right now, Lolly, who we named after the deceased cat, that was his nickname. His name was Lionel and his nickname was Lolly, so we named her Lolly because, anyway, we knew she would stick around. He would kind of live on through her. And but the way she came is one night I'm sitting, you know, making a fire, you know, a month or so ago. And what's it been? 2 months?
2, yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
And I hear prior to this, for 2 weeks, every day she would sit there like a woman has like baby fever, you know, like they can't wait to get pregnant and have a baby. She had puppy fever. So,
I did. I really did.
Every day she would be like, I want a puppy so bad. Let's rescue a puppy. And I'm like, no, we don't need any more dogs. We need no more animals.
It's so cute, and ours is so fast.
Right, go play with someone else's puppy.
I can't play with them outside. They just want to run around. Like I can't coddle them.
So after about 2 weeks of this, every day we're making this comment. I'm sitting there making a fire, and I hear this yelping, and I think it's just our other pack of dogs, you know, arguing about fighting or whatever. And I go look out on the front porch, black puppy, you know, 8 weeks old, like
the stork.
Right, with our other dogs just playing around, like just flew in with the stork. So I walked inside and I said, hey, why don't you go look out on the porch? And she was like, what, is it something bad? And I was like,
I figured it was something dead that they've like drug up or they've killed a chicken or I mean, because you didn't seem real thrilled. Like I figured it was bad.
So she goes and opens the door and she was like, oh my God, it's like Christmas.
I got a
came early. So.
Then I get to save.
Yeah, but so anyway, that's kind of the story. So I think the first year. We're in year what now?
August, we will have been here 3 years.
Okay, so we'll be here 3 years this coming August. So year 1 was definitely like
traumatic.
Very.
What I would
you're
say.
just trying to figure out,
traumatic.
like, yeah, this is different. And then year 2, I think we kind of, you know, found our stride. Now, you know, almost to year 3, we're.
Year 2's been much better.
Yeah, you get more proficient with stuff and just. You know, how to do stuff, and we've done, you know, last year we did a really big garden. We're going to do another garden again this year and do.
It was a train wreck.
Yeah, it was just, you know, you kind of, and that's part of what I feel like the appeal of the show would be, is that one, you know, you've got a lot of people. I mean, you know, when I first got out of college, I was working in Atlanta, sitting in a car, you know, 2 hours a day, bumper to bumper traffic, wearing a suit every day, you know, just not, quality of life was not very good. You know, it's kind of a high stress, high, you know, pay environment, but at the end of the day, you know, all you really have is time. If you die with $40 billion, that didn't really help you much, you know, so if you're spending your days just wasting away, you know, in some job you don't like or just stressful situations, you know, I think there are a lot of people out there that would get into it just because we've kind of done what a lot of people say they would love to do and maybe they'll do one day, you know, and we didn't wait till we were 60 to do it. We just, went ahead and did it now.
It was you just did it. I felt like you can't even think about it. You just have to go,
It's like pulling off the Band-Aid. I mean, you gotta, and this all happened very organically. It wasn't like, it just kind of happened.
Oh, I told him it was real organic. Yeah.
So, but the beauty of being out here, I guess,
screaming, being drug out.
Part of it is the just the trial and error of doing stuff. Like I'm not a farmer. She's not a farmer. We're not.
Funny, we didn't think about
that.
Yeah,
you just kind of you end up doing stuff is new, and
you never thought
you'd do or whatever, and then you figure.
And then you do it several times over again, and you think.
Yeah, and then you get proficient with some of this stuff. But the first few times, it's like you're trying, you're just trying ideas, and okay, let's do it this way. And they're like, okay, that surely didn't work, and then you try a new method.
Okay, let's let Tyler talk because I feel like.
Okay. Well,
that's what we're here for. It's not about me.
That's my story.
It's about you guys talking. Nobody wants to hear me talk. So what do you see as sort of the future of the farm?
Future of the farm.
Future, like what? Yeah.
Future, I don't know. I mean, we've seriously been thinking about starting a nonprofit animal rescue, which would allow us to do more of what we kind of love to do, which is helping animals, and allow us kind of a platform to do that. At some point it gets to be pretty expensive, so you just can only afford to do so much out of your own pocket. So
at the quality that we we're pretty
so that's the one thing that we've kind of talked about as far as actually farming type stuff. This year we're going, another experiment is going to be a cut flower garden where we do sunflowers, zinnia, cosmos, those type of fresh cut flowers. And I'm talking to a couple people at the farmers market that already, are there selling produce and different things. Basically I wholesale flowers to them. They sell them. I don't really have time to do that. I've got plenty of land, and I'd like to, I like the growing something. I want to, kind of settle in on something that we're doing from an agricultural standpoint that's fairly consistent, and then we can kind of, hobby around with other stuff. Like I want to put in some a very small vineyard. The wine would probably be terrible, but who knows? Just to kind of play around. And that's, I don't know. That's kind of it.
You're a 9-hole golf course.
Yeah, I've
designed.
Play a little golf out there, so maybe that. I don't know. What's your
more animals? I want a pig and a cow. I did want a camel, but because they have some, like right down the road.
Yeah.
But I didn't follow through with that.
Yeah, it's not going to be. It's not going to be like crazy. The thing that we have learned with animals is that the goats were a prime example. Those things are like Houdini, and they can literally jump 7 feet in the air, standing flat-footed. So you can't keep them in anything. They ate a lot of money's worth of landscaping that I put in. We had a house sitter here. We went, I forget where it was. We came back, and they had eaten all the plants around the house, and he didn't even notice.
I mean, I'm talking to the ground, like thousands of dollars of these beautiful landscapes, and they were like, it was like they were never even there.
Yeah, had already been planted. They weren't still sitting in buckets. I mean, you dug holes, done the whole thing. So
like designed and laid out.
My point is, the animals.
Eaten.
You have to have proper infrastructure for these animals if you're going to have them. And we
completely understand.
Right, and we didn't get that as much as we do now. So any of those additions, we'll have to. I'm fine to do it, and more into, I wouldn't just get animals just to have like, ooh, we want one of those. I would prefer to do it in a rescue type, deal where, there's someone that, there's an animal that's been mistreated or needs a home or a temporary home before it gets a forever home or something like that.
Nice. Okay, so I'm going to move on to this sort of the other life, the other side of it. Talk about, you guys go on some fun trips and some cool stuff. Do you have any, what are some things you plan on in the future? Do you have some sort of, dream trips you guys are planning out together, things you really want to do, and kind of what those are?
Wedding?
Yeah. We're talking, we just recently engaged, so we're trying to put all that together. And, her dad passed away this past year, and, it's kind of changed things as far as, having a traditional wedding, and, my father's passed away as well. And so, we're not into, we're fairly unconventional as a couple. We don't really, yeah, we're going to do what we think's cool, not just because it's social convention. So, we're toying with the idea of maybe eloping and going to Greece or something. I don't like
calling it eloping. I want to plan that we're going there.
Yeah, we may go to Greece. We may go to Greece, get married, and then come back and have a big party. So whatever you want to call that. But so that trip is kind of on the horizon. My bachelor party, which has been rumored to be in either Iceland or Ibiza, not sure yet.
Which, that's fine. I really don't care. But I'm not going to Destin or St. Simon's if you're going to Ibiza. Or I know what y'all did in Ibiza last time, so I don't know about Ibiza. I don't know.
Whatever. So anyway, so
maybe Iceland.
That trip and
Google Iceland later.
I don't know. Fun stuff. I don't know. We want to go to, probably. I say Greece, but I think Croatia is another place we talked about going. I don't know. We probably set aside maybe, a good, a month a year that we travel, and go on different trips. And so,
probably the Hamptons and maybe
we'll go to the Hamptons probably, again this summer sometime, and then we'll go. I'm probably going to have a pre-bachelor party planning session down in South Beach.
Oh, really?
At some point.
This is how I get informed about things, like when it's in front of other people.
So, I don't know, what trips do you want to go on?
I don't know. Kaylee called me the other night and was like, so can we go on a sailing trip and have like a super hot captain?
That's another one that we want to.
Sure, we can do that.
Yeah.
Mr. Ibiza.
Well, you can do that.
Yeah.
We have talked about doing some sailing as well.
Yeah, we love sailing. We've done sailing in the BVI's twice, and we love that. So maybe that again. We tend to be very spur of the moment. Like Joel will just be like, "Oh yeah, so I thought about blah blah blah. Why don't we fly to so and so in 3 days?" He sometimes it's very. I don't know. We just decide on short notice, which is fun. I like that.
With my with what I do with real estate, it kind of some of it is. A lot of planning for developments, and these cycles for these developments are over 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 years, depending on how big the development is and how many phases it has and everything. So some of that stuff moves really slow, but other times it's like you're working on something and then you're not or whatever, and so the opportunities that I have to truly get away and turn off all the phones and computers and all that stuff, when I see that window, sometimes we're only, 2-3 weeks away from that window. And I know that I can truly get away, and it kind of works out. So I like to plan more in advance, but it just doesn't always happen that way.
Yeah.
Great. That really covered everything I wanted to talk with you both about. Do you have any questions or anything? So, anything that you can think of you want to throw out there? Just with life, yourself, what you do in general, anything. I'm not asking anything specific. There's nothing specific here. Just if you had an interesting story you were thinking about, or this, that, if you want anything else you wanted to say.
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty much, kind of our deal in a nutshell. So, as far as any content or anything that you need us to put together, a little we shoot a little video of us doing something or whatever, if you need to get some of that, we're happy to do it. What else?
I guess what is the process from here?
Well, next, like we talked about earlier, we need to get you and your girlfriends together into kind of one group Skype. And then after I get all that, we take this conversation we just had, the one you and I had earlier, and then the one we had with the girls, and we'll cut it together in like a video, in like a 5 to 7 minute video.
Okay, cool.
And then we have those pictures you showed us and all that. So we cut all that together, and then so it's kind of like, it's sort of like a casting tape. And we take that and we show that to the networks, and they watch that just to get the characters. And they say, okay, so what's the show about? And then really what they want to see the characters. That's like the number one thing. Are you guys exciting? Or do you look good on camera? So that's what this is. So that's really the first step. And then from that, they'll either say yes or no from that. And then they'll just look at the tape and decide from there. And that it's kind of strange that that's how it works, but that's what it is. Yeah, they just look at these Skype tapes cut together and say, yeah, we'll take that. So
that is cool.
Yeah, if you need to do another. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that was it. Yeah, you're gonna say if I need another Skype. Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll send this up to the guys.
Yeah, Sure, yeah, if you need to do another one, or like I said, any footage or something, if they're trying to figure out, how to look on camera or whatever, we can do something.